All right. Errol Spence Jr. lays out his plans for the welterweight division. Talks the Manny Pacquiao Keith Thurman winner. Talks what was going on with Sean Porter and his contract, and also talks about what needs to go on for Terrence Crawford and moving up to 154. Absolutely great work by Fred from Barbershop Conversations. We're going to talk about that in this video. All right. It is good to be subscribed to Barbershop Conversations. Had very, very good series of interviews that took place. I do believe that was last night or this weekend, sometime this weekend with Errol Spence Jr. It seemed to be at the fight for the Jermell Charlo Cotto fight. Errol Spence Jr. shared a lot of really good information, man, some funny stuff. I really like that this young man is kind of coming out of his shell a little bit. I thought he was a kind of a quiet guy. He still seems to be a quiet guy, but his confidence is starting to come out. His personality is starting to show, and I'm liking it a lot. He talks about a couple things. He talked about the next fight coming up. The next fight coming up for him is the Sean Porter fight, and he said that he has already signed the contract and that he already knows the date. This in contradiction to what has been said by Kenny Porter, and that I'm told Kenny Porter said. I've seen it reported on a lot of different YouTube pages that the contract, where Kenny Porter said that the contract for Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter, his son Sean Porter, fight hadn't been signed, and so Errol Spence said it's not true. He already signed his contract. And he knows the date. He said it's going to be sometime in September. And if Kenny Porter doesn't know that, then hey man, that's on Kenny Porter. But that deal is already signed, and they're just waiting to announce it, and they're going to announce it soon. So there goes all the speculation about who's ducking who's jealous of who. The funny thing, man, was the jealousy. That's why I say he let his personality be shown a little bit. Sean Porter and I did see this interview, and where Sean Porter said that he believed Errol Spence Jr. was jealous of him because Sean Porter is on TV calling the fights, that he's got a smile, he's got a big, bright smile, and that's why Errol Spence is jealous of him. And I thought to myself, man, you sound a little, now that doesn't make too much sense to me, Sean, because Errol Spence seems to be the guy that has 50,000 people watching him in Dallas. He's the guy that the rumors say is making the big money, along with Deontay Wilder over there that he's one of the guys making a lot of money over there in the PBC. I've not heard that same rumor about Sean Porter, and it just doesn't make much sense. Now, that Errol Spence Jr. would be jealous of him, and one of the things that Fred from Barbershop Conversations, subscribe to Barbershop Conversations, got in his interview was that Errol Spence Jr. had also been offered that job to cover fights on Fox. But he said no, because it was going to take a lot of time to break down fights, study fighters, and there was a lot of work along with it that was going to get into his schedule, and he didn't feel like he wanted to do that. As far as the fight itself between Sean Porter and Errol Spence said that he intends to look really good and get it done as early as possible. So he's looking to knock out Sean Porter. Nothing new there. He talks a little bit about the energy changing from Kenny Porter when they're talking in public versus when he sees in the media. All really good, interesting stuff, man. I definitely suggest that you go to Barbershop Conversations page and listen to the interviews in full. Really interesting information. He also talks about how the next steps that for him after he gets past the Sean Porter fight, assuming that he gets past the Sean Porter fight, Sean Porter is going to be a good fight with Errol Spence Jr. I'm not a big fan of the style of Sean Porter, but Sean Porter is a gritty dude, and he's fought a lot of top-notch competition, from Ugas to Thurman to Kell Brook to Danny Garcia. So he's been in the ring with top-notch welterweights, and that is going to be this is probably the most experienced fighter that Errol Spence Jr. will have fought. So I don't completely count out Sean Porter, and I don't want to make it seem as if I don't really, respect what Sean Porter does in the ring. I really do. But if Errol Spence gets past Sean Porter, then he said he's looking for the Manny Pacquiao. He's looking for the Manny Pacquiao Sean Porter fight. I mean, the winner of the Manny Pacquiao Keith Thurman fight. And he said, now I don't think that he's going to get the winner of that, right? He laid out what he wanted to do, which was the Sean Porter fight, which would unify the IBF and the WBC. Then he wants the winner of Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao, which is going to take place. I think that's July 20th. I think it's July 20th or the third Saturday in July, pay-per-view fight. I do believe that's going to be in Vegas. A lot of people, I think I haven't checked the odds, but I have a suspicion that the odds might be kind of close for the fights. We got a lot of people who are making a prediction that Manny Pacquiao is going to win that fight. I lean towards Keith Thurman in that fight because I think that Adrian Bronner did a good job against Manny Pacquiao, and I think that Keith Thurman can do exactly what Adrian Bronner did that got him limited success, but do enough in that fight to win rounds. I don't think that he's going to allow Manny Pacquiao just to outwork him. And Manny Pacquiao's 40 years old. And I don't care what anybody says, having the experience of being over 40, I know what that means. And eventually you're going to walk up and see one of the guys that are fighting over 40 that you keep looking back and remembering the good old days. You're going to see them flat on their back, okay? Because the good old days are gone. And I hear people in my comment section talking about all the older fighters that Manny Pacquiao beat. You're mentioning guys. Yeah, you're mentioning fights that Adrian Bronner, he's older than Adrian Bronner. He beat Adrian Bronner. He was older than Lucas Matisse, and he beat Lucas Matisse, and whatever, okay? He is older now than he was when he fought Adrian Bronner, and Adrian Bronner is not Keith Thurman. He's older now than when he beat Lucas Matisse, and Lucas Matisse already been stopped and been beaten, just like Adrian Bronner. But he's older now than he was when he beat Lucas Matisse. Same thing for every fight. And once you get over 40, that aging process starts going, man. It starts clicking. So anyway, I lean towards Keith Thurman in that fight for those reasons. I could be wrong. I'm not 100%. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, but that's what I believe. Regardless, as it applies to Errol Spence Jr., I don't think either one of those guys are going to fight Errol Spence Jr. So after they say no to that, then Errol said that he wants to fight Terrence Crawford. But then they talked about the purse split, and he said, "Look, man, if they think what if they say it's 50-50? They say it's 50-50. This is what Errol Spence says. He said then they're not going to have a fight because he's out of his mind if you think it's a 50-50 fight." Monetarily between him and Terrence Crawford. And I think that that's about right. I made videos about that earlier before that happened. And look, man, if they can settle on a 55-45, I would think that would be fair for Terrence Crawford from a monetary standpoint, as far as like what they both bring to the game, as far as their name recognition and all that. I do believe that's a 50-50 proposition. However, there are other fighters that Errol Spence Jr. can fight that would bring the same thing that Terrence Crawford brings as far as name recognition and all that. And Errol Spence Jr. said after he beats, according to his plan, which was the Keith Thurman fight or Manny Pacquiao fight, and then the Terrence Crawford fight. After that, he wants to move up. He wants to move up to 154. I do believe that Jermell Charlo would probably move to 160, or I'm not sure what the plans for Errol would be at 154 with Jermell at that weight class. But hopefully Jermell can get the fight with have that rematch with Tony Harrison, fight J-Rock, wrap that up, and then go to 160. I'm not sure how that stuff will work, but That seems to be the plan for Errol Spence Jr. And I think that that's a good one. I think that's one that should satisfy boxing fans. And of course, the path to the best played, the best laid plans of men. Errol got to get past Sean Porter, who's not an easy nut to crack. Although I think that he's definitely going to crack it. He can get the winner. If he fought Manny Pacquiao ain't fighting him. Okay, so I hope Keith Thurman wins this fight for the sake of there being some type of unification in 147 pounds, because Manny Pacquiao ain't fighting him. If Manny Pacquiao was going to fight him, Manny Pacquiao would be fighting him right now. Since Manny Pacquiao got into the ring with him, and they said, hey, why not? We'll take the fight, why not? I'll tell you why not, because you're not going to win. And then Terrence Crawford, be great. If that could happen, it would be great. But it's good to have heard from Errol Spence Jr., and now we kind of know where everything is. The fight's happening next. And let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.